You've definitely heard about weaver ants and most likely wanted to have them. But it so happens that these ants are not easy to keep at home, and very few keepers have managed to find the key to this species. For several months now I've been keeping Asian weaver ants, Oecophylla Smaragdina. Today I want to start a series of 3 videos about these ants. I'll talk about their characteristics, share my experience in keeping this species, and try to figure out how to keep weaver ants at home. Greetings to all ant keepers on my channel. This is the Ant Star Project. Enjoy watching.
Terra bread.
And packing. The weaver ants arrived to me along with a bunch of other exotic ants that I sent to my friend in Ukraine. This is Oecophylla Smaragdina colony. I can't see the queen. There were a lot of emotions. I've seen this species before, but I still felt joy and excitement of these unusual little ants. Right after receiving them, I began to examine the test tube with these valuable inhabitants. Such a large colony. You could even see brood, which is rare for weaver ants. Approximately 60 ants were there at a glance, and that was enough for a good start. The ants were active, but it was clear that they were uncomfortable in such a small nest. The cloudy test tube and the abundance of workers didn't allow me to see the queen, but with the right angle I managed to spot her. Here she is, hiding from the light under the workers and worrying about her colony. It's clear now that the ants arrived in a good condition, and that means it's time to prepare a new home for them. The simple setup that everyone has made. An outworld with holes for 3 test tubes, but for now 2 will be enough. However, there is something different about this formicarium from the ones we are used to. One of the test tubes in it is without water. I carefully apply Vaseline oil to the walls. Weaver ants can easily overcome most other anti-escapes. Here it is, the long-awaited moment. I gently place the test tube with the new ants into the outworld, and finally I give them a chance to breathe fresh air. The weaver ants quickly rushed into the outworld as a united crowd. They immediately started carrying out the dead from the nest and searching for food. The ants showed curiosity towards everything. They weren't afraid of the new place, but rather explored it with interest, hoping to find a new home. And for some reason they often opened their mandibles like this. I immediately gave them honey to ensure they wouldn't have hunger issues. Weaver ants really love sweets, so they found the food right away. A refuse pile started forming in the corner to prevent dead ants from smelling up the nest. The weaver ants work together harmoniously. It's truly amazing when ants immediately get to work and know what they need to do. But it was already late, so I placed the farm in a dark place and left them in peace. However, when I checked on them at night, I saw that the ants had already started relocation. Look, the queen is already sitting in the outworld. The ants were so uncomfortable in the old test tube that they left at the first opportunity. It was clear that they hadn't decided on their new home yet, but I was pleased to see that the relocation process had started very quickly. And already here you can see that the queen of my colony is colored unusually. She has an orange thorax and a greenish abdomen. Such morphs are not common, but the color of the queen didn't matter much to me. The next day everything changed. The ants were still in the process of relocation, but they had established a temporary nest in the outworld. Almost all the brood and the main part of the ants were in one corner, while the others were busy moving the brood. I waited a little longer, and the workers found a place for the new ant nest. It's unusual to see weaver ants in such a setup, but these are just stereotypes. Time to clean up the outworld. Besides, it smelled quite unpleasant in there. I remove all the debris and dead ants. Thanks to the weaver ants for being neat and not scattering trash all over the outworld. Now I'll make their conditions a bit closer to their natural habitat. I add some soil to the outworld. The bright workers look great in it, and it looks better than plain plastic. Why not add a leaf to it? It complements the composition and helps with ant feeding. For example, it's convenient for pouring honey on. For now, due to stress, the ants are ignoring the feeder insects. It happens with ants, but I didn't expect the weaver ants to be so finicky for so long. Otherwise, the ants look good. They roam around the outworld and settle in. The colony has finally settled on a nest and chose the empty test tube. I didn't give them two options for nothing. That's what my colleagues advised me to do, and as you can see, it worked. The weaver ants preferred the dry option. Construction has slowly begun, and the workers have sealed the gap with the silk. There is really a lot of brood. This is pleasing and increases the chances of a successful attempt. In the process, we will also find out how quickly weaver ants grow. Over time, the system stabilizes. It's humid in the outworld as seen from the condensation, and I'll say in advance that it's not advisable to do this. The ants have already improved the test tube by silk, creating two levels in one spot. The queen sits on the first level while the brood is stored on the second. At this stage, everything is new to me and I don't fully understand what conditions they need, but this will come with experience in keeping them. What I can note now is that there is no panic in the ant nest. I think it's because in the wild their nest often sway in the wind and light penetrates through the leaves, so these ants remain calm. Despite this, I try not to disturb the ants unnecessarily and keep them in the dark. I wipe away the condensation from the outworld. There shouldn't be high humidity in it. Moving forward, I'll keep them without a lid. And here on the shelf is where I store the weaver ant system. It doesn't receive too much light here, yet it's not too dark either. I think this is the best option for them. Oecophylla ants also like warm, and they are heated 24/7 with a heat cord. I can't say for sure, but it's around 28 degrees Celsius in there. And here is a new insight for you. Weaver ants need to be provided with water. I've already mentioned this in my social medias, but not everyone saw it. In brief, these ants don't drink well from cotton and they need an open water source. After 2 weeks, the situation changed again. It seems that the ants have finally recovered from the stress. That's great, but we'll still monitor their behavior. Now I can handle them without worrying. It's not like they are messers. I brought the ants into the light, and for them it's as if nothing has changed. Usually weaver ants don't survive well in shipping, and it's blessing if at least the queen survives. Most of the time there is no brood. This isn't surprising because such colonies are usually dug up, and Asian sellers don't take brood from nests, which makes it challenging for keepers. I want to clarify that I don't support buying dug up ants. It's often a waste of money and I don't want to sponsor such poaching. This colony was more of a payment for my help in transporting the batch of ants, and I wouldn't have bought them just for the sake of it. Weaver ants are more demanding than regular ants and require regular maintenance. Because of daily feeding with insects, I have to clean the outworld quite often. Additionally, every day I spray the walls and the leaf with water to simulate dew which they drink in nature. The ants are starting to show interest to other insects, but not as actively as I would like. They carried this cricket around the outworld for a long time and they just threw it into the trash. After 3 weeks, progress is evident. The queen has laid eggs and the ants have become active hunters. New layers of silk have appeared. The ants perceive this test tube as a full-fledged nest. The colony is growing confidently. New workers are appearing almost every day and I see active brood grow. The queen is doing well. She is alive and producing offspring. There are many larvae and pupae among the ants, and they cover the entire back of the test tube. New workers are emerging literally every day, and it seems that I have found an approach to this species. But let's not rush, there are still many adventures ahead. In the meantime, you can take a closer look at the queen in all her glory. She indeed has an unusual morph. If someone doesn't know, weaver ant queens are usually entirely green. Thank you for watching this video. I want to remind you that this is just the first part of the weaver ant story. 2 more parts are coming and they will be released every 2 weeks. It's going to get even more interesting and we'll see how these ants hunt. In the meantime, I recommend checking out my other videos, for example about leafcutter ants. This is the Terra project. See you!